I want us to right now talk about the game against Trinidad. Obviously, we need to score as many goals as possible because we know that we're going to go up against Jamaica, who's going to score a bunch against St. Kitts, and they should have scored a bunch more against Trinidad. We currently have, I think, 3 more goal difference than them, so we just have to match essentially, and we have a +3 in our favor. Whatever Jamaica does against St. Kitts. I don't think it's going to be that easy against Trini. I think that they're going to figure out ways to be difficult, like they always do every time we play them. But they're out of the tournament. Like us and Jamaica are going through, and
what was it? What was the?
I guess mathematically they're not out of it. They can beat us, but it's I don't.
They
see
won
them
3.
beating us.
They won 3-0, right, against St. Kitts.
They won 3-0 against St. Kitts. Yes, that's correct. And so I don't see them beating us, but I feel like they could hold us to a number. And now we're going to go into second. So ultimately, I want to talk about the starting lineup. Like, what do you want to see in our starting lineup against Trinidad, Heath Pierce?
Oh,
merging the 2 lineups together, I assume, in some capacity, right?
I'm going same back 4. I like Brian Reynolds at right back. Even if Brian Reynolds didn't score, and in a game like that where it's really hard to judge, because I said it yesterday, like when you're a fullback in a game like that, it's a dream scenario because you don't have to play any defense. So you could just stay up and attack the whole time. And it's hard to have a bad game or not show up in that position because you're always facing the game in the right positions. But I would keep them there. And I also just think I don't need to see DeAndre Yedlin anymore. I just don't. Like he's been so incredible and so important for this national team for so long. I don't know why I need to see him in a Gold Cup or why he is on the margins better than a Brian Reynolds at this point, right? So just keep him there. Keep my back 4.
Yeah, he shouldn't be on the roster. I mean, we should be graduating from those guys. With all due respect to DeAndre,
I don't mind
the service. So many caps, 2 World Cups.
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind having experience in the roster because you do know that you need that, and I've heard he's really good as within the locker room of the guys. So I think that's a really important factor of having him in there and him understanding his role and nurturing the next generation of guys, which is why we took 19 right backs to the World Cup because it was more of a mentorship trip for the right backs than it was for the rest of the players on the field. But I keep the same back line, Jimmy. I'm going to go again. Wait.
If Miles Robinson's healthy, would you consider rolling him out at this point to get 90 minutes or 45 or
no? Maybe I'm talking a final 30 for him, depending on the circumstances.
Okay.
You know what you're going to get from him, but if you can get yourself 4 more days, why not take those extra?
Yeah,
it's kind of like get back to full health, and then 1 more week is sort of always the magic sauce of like, do you feel great? Okay, 1 more week, and we can work you into that.
I agree with you on the back 4.
I'm going to go with James. I want to see James Sands in there again. He looked comfortable on the ball. It looked a little bit more like classic James Sands. Obviously, again, take it all into account that we weren't under pressure at all. He was facing the game, mostly got the ball in good spots. I thought Aiden Morris was solid when he came in late in the game, especially more so as an 8. A little bit more in the attack of being able to service the ball. Everybody was an 8 in that game, to be honest with you, because, again, the circumstances. But let's go James Sands. I'm going to go with Mihailovic, and I want to see Jesus Ferreira for the first half in that mix. Within that mix, and it's hard because Busio didn't play himself out, by the way. It's just I want to see that because I want to see Vasquez. If that doesn't work, take out Vasquez at halftime, move Ferreira back up top, and put in Busio into the midfield. It's sort of my thinking. Not halftime, but say, maybe halftime. I don't know.
Okay, so you go with Ferreira, Mihailovic, and Sands. I'm on board with that. Unfortunate for Busio, but I think that there's a huge pocket of space. The Jamaica Trinidad game, for the large swaths of the game that I saw, there's a lot of gaps between the back line and midfield that I think that Ferreira and Busio obviously could take advantage of it too. But to have Ferreira and Mihailovic kind of finding those areas with Vasquez ahead of them gets me pretty excited. And I wonder how that would impact also the wingers, because Zendejas and Cal didn't come off looking too great against St. Kitts. And so would you roll with those 2 guys again? Who
I would give them both another run against Trinidad. I thought they were both
45 minimum.
Yeah, because look, what's going to happen is you're going to get into the knockout rounds, and you need to have a clear picture if you're BJ Callahan of who can I rely upon to deliver for me, right? I know what I'm going to get from Christian Roldan. I know what I'm going to get from Jordan Morris if I put them into those 2 wide positions. I know it's going to be solid. I thought Roldan brought a really good energy when he came on the field. I know what Jordan Morris is going to bring me because he's got 52 caps for the national team. Like, I know those things. And so I'm using the group stages to basically test these players to prove that you're ready for that next level. I thought those are the 2 players that I struggled with the most. But I also know that I'm going to give them another game because they weren't bad. They just weren't good. And in a game against St. Kitts and Nevis, you should be good. And so give them that run. if you got to take them out and put in those two guys, and then for the rest of the tournament, if they don't prove to you in this game against Trinidad to light the game up in the way that we've seen their potential to be, that's where I'm drawing the line there, as like hey, I'm going to go with the guys that I know I can trust when I get to the knockout rounds, because you two haven't proven to me that I can go to you guys in these types of moments, and I make that change.
I agree with you on that. And I think that this would be somewhat of a nice touch from BJ to go with those guys again, to give them that encouragement and confidence that, hey, we still trust you. Because you and I have been in those positions before where you get your shot, you don't take your shot, and then you might not get another chance for a year. You could be 18 months, could be 6 months. I mean, there's all these different variables. And I know it's the national team, right? You got to put up or shut up. But there is something in a tournament format where you have the luxury, especially in this competition, to play – I guess I walked myself into saying lesser opponents, but opponents that don't maybe have the quality that you have. And so I think there would be something to be said like, hey, I'm going to give you 45 minutes. That could turn into 60 if I see something good in the first half. But there's something about knowing that a coach has your back that gives you that little extra spark. You want to prove something to him and validate why he's choosing you. So I like that shout a lot. Well, you didn't tell me goalkeeper though. Do you bring in Slanina at this point?
No. I mean,
John Johnson, Turner. What are you going with?
You had a chance to go with Slanina. I think there is a pecking order that's natural, right? Like if you're Sean Johnson, you're like, dude, this is my 5th or 6th Gold Cup, and like I've been grinding for over a decade.
I've only had one cap.
Like, yeah, I have one. I think he's got like less than 10 caps in total. Jimmy, I think we may have caught a little feedback there. I don't know if you're something's touching something there or whatever, but maybe it's on my end. But yeah, like I'm gonna go with probably Sean Johnson again in this one. Give Turner. No, actually, I'm going back to Turner. You got to go with Turner because you need the goals, you need the points, you need the performance. So go with the guy that you brought in, who's been your number one.